The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max presents Money in the Bank 2018. I'm sorry, I can't do it nearly as well as whoever does the normal tags for all of our shows. Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Brandon Biskobing. I'll be your host for tonight for Money in the Bank 2018, and joining me, as per usual lately, for Raw, Smackdown, now NXT because I got her into it, and everything else pretty much. Liz Pugliese, how's it going? Hey, it's day 2 of our quadfecta.
We're halfway there.
Yeah, we're halfway there. I'm sorry I had to. You set me up way too easily for that one.
I know, I love that song.
So yeah, it's Money in the Bank. And a disclaimer already. Be prepared for shenanigans and rants galore. Just saying. Yes. So if you want to tune out, go ahead. This is your last chance. If you do not want to hear a bunch of rants and a bunch of probably cursing, please leave now and forever hold your peace. Otherwise, be prepared for the ride because it's Money in the Bank time. So we get the normal pre-show shenanigans. I think yeah, KO showed up before the. Samoa Joe first showed up onto the panel and talking about how he's gonna win the Money in the Bank contract, and then KO shows up to pitch his whole, hey, we gotta team up because Braun Strowman is the monster among men, which we'll talk about later. But you know, KO, you were kind of ominous right here. Well done. You were very. You're very, what's the word? Nostradamus-y here. Well done. Well done. So the opening pre-show match, scheduled for one fall, is the Bludgeon Brothers facing off against the Club for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This match wasn't bad. I mean, especially for a pre-show match, it's there kind of to get the crowd going, and they did that. But as probably everyone expected and no one was surprised on, the Bludgeon Brothers win with a pinfall with a double team powerbomb, and they retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Do you have anything to say about this match?
Not really. It was exactly, I think, what we expected. You know, Bludgeon Brothers retained, and Bludgeon Brothers do what they've been doing.
Yep. We'll see what happens with them moving forward, but yeah, the tag teams on both brands are pretty much dead. And we'll talk about this later, but be prepared. I've said this before, and I'll say it again later. Just a segue for later. We get on to the main show. So the opening contest on the main show, scheduled for one fall, is, surprisingly, Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan. And this match actually went for a little while. And, you know, Cass was able to get some momentum going for a little bit. But in the end, Daniel Bryan wins, not with his normal yes lock, but instead with a heel hook. Daniel Bryan is the new Dean Malenko officially now. He is the man of 1,000 holds. So, I give you that, I officially proclaim you the new man with 1,000 holds, Daniel Bryan. Please use it as you see fit.
I like that.
You remember Dean Malenko?
I love Dean Malenko.
Of course. Who doesn't?
Love him.
So yes, Daniel Bryan is now the new man of 1,000 holds, and he wins here with the heel hook. Before I go on to a mini rant about this, did you have anything to say about this match?
It was about what we expected.
Pretty much. I'll agree with that. Now, granted, I shouldn't really be complaining because Daniel has won both of the 2 matches in this whole feud. But something that I want to say, I believe it was Jonathan Coachman who said it, because he's the one who brings the legitimacy to this commentary booth. But I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember him saying something kind of subtly. He kind of tried to throw it in there without anyone noticing, but I heard it very distinctly. And it made me actually think, and it made my brain hit that light bulb and be like, oh, wait, this is the whole reason why Vince should completely stop trying to do this whole storyline to begin with. Jonathan Coachman mentioned Hoist Gracie. And for those of you who may not be familiar, granted, hey, I'll be the first to admit I wasn't exactly familiar with this until, 5 or 6 months ago. Until I actually started to pay attention to this. But he was the first ever UFC champion. And he was basically the originator of UFC. And, the whole purpose, he was the one who basically created UFC. And the whole reason why he created it was to show how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is very ground-based and very based off of submissions, a smaller guy can beat a larger guy no matter what, because he can overpower him on the ground and through submissions. And he proved this in the first couple of UFC pay-per-views. And yet Vince McMahon, and this is 15 years after the fact, or 25 years, after the first UFCs, Vince McMahon still is so focused on this whole big versus small dynamic. And trying to make the viewers believe that the big guy has such a huge advantage over the small guy. Follow Hoist Gracie's vision and drop the whole big guy versus small guy thing. Because, as he showed, the small guy can overpower the big guy every single time, if he's good enough. So, hopefully this is the end. I would think this is the end of the whole thing. But that's all I gotta say about this match.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, I guess people were into it because it was Brian, and but it was similar. It was similar for me to, which we'll get to next, actually. Bobby and Sammy. It was very one-sided. It was just so much flat about their interaction. It was very hard for me to care.
See, I'll agree with you in terms of the storyline, but I'll disagree with you in terms of the personalities, because whereas Daniel, the Daniel versus Cass feud was, Cass has been a production of WWE from he's never been in the Indies. So,
I know.
Everyone was on the side of Brian. And it was very clear to everyone that Brian was carrying this feud. Whereas in the Lashley versus Sammy feud, which we'll get to in a second, while yes, in this scenario, because Lashley had to play the face, Sammy had to carry this feud. But most of the fans who were smart enough to know both on a legitimate and on a pro wrestling level, Lashley could hold his own. It wasn't as hard to believe if Lashley won. You know, it was like, okay, if Lashley won, okay, we understand it. And whereas if Cass won this match, which honestly, you know, I predicted he might have because, you know, because of Vince's love affair with big guys and because I'm sure, like, you know, with how WWE loves to extend their feuds into the biggest pay-per-view they can find. I saw this going into SummerSlam. I was honestly a little surprised that Daniel won cleanly. But, you know, I'm glad he did. In this Lashley versus Sammy match, scheduled for
One fall.
Lashley wins pretty easily. I mean, Sammy did get some offense in. But, you know, Lashley won easily enough that I think this is the end of it. And hopefully Lashley can move on to something bigger and better and drop the whole, oh, I'm a family man, yada, yada, yada. No, we want the badass Lashley back. Please.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's over, and I'm hoping they both go on to bigger and better. Yeah. To go backwards for a second, but only because it plays into this, what I meant earlier about Cass and Bryan was that their verbal interaction was lackluster. So for me, that it's like, you know, I wasn't talking about like match-wise, because Bobby could totally hold his own, so that's different. You know, I expected Bobby to give Sammy a good thrashing, and let's face it, you know, storyline wise, he deserved it. So, you know, it was fairly quick. You know, I think I don't even remember Sammy getting offense, and I must have blinked or been washing dishes or something. But yeah, I was like,
I think we all pretty much blanked on this whole match.
It was like one thing. He was holding him up. I guess he was holding him up vertically. And Sammy's feet were just like kicking back and forth, and I just got a kick out of that for some reason. But again, like the third time in a row, was exactly what you expected. You expected Bobby to give him a good thrashing, and that's what we got.
Yeah, so yeah, we got a pretty good thrashing here with Bobby winning. And then Big Cass obviously winning his match against Bryan. I actually forgot about something we talked about the Bobby versus Sammy match already, but we get New Day backstage before that match, talking to each other, figuring out who's going to be the man, and then KO rolls up and presents them with a bag of gifts, which ends up to be pancakes, which we saw during the pre-show. He had a garbage bag full of something, and he was like...
That was so gross.
It really was. And then he poured syrup into it, and New Day is like, okay, we'll listen to you, and he asks which one of them is in the match, and they deny his offer. And, you know, he's like, okay, I get it, it's good strategy, and leaves. He asks if they considered using the other two to take Braun out. And, Kofi's like, no, we would never cheat, what are you talking about? And he keeps on going. And then they keep on going back and forth, and, you know, KO makes a little jab at IHOP, saying they were right, becoming IHOB, and he hates Chicago, and yada, and he gets stolen of his syrup, and he leaves. So following that, what?
No, yeah, it was just...
It was weird.
I don't even have words for it.
Yep. So we get a little thing with Nia after the Bobby versus Sammy match, talking about the match with Rousey. She talks with John Cohn and saying how, hey, I can do things that Ronda's not used to. And Rousey, we see shadow boxing while Natalya looks on, which should have led to something, but we'll talk about that later. Elias is in the ring singing us a song. He sings about how Rollins is a stepping stone, and he's a chance to show the entire world that WWE stands for
Walk with Elias.
Yes, precisely. He's about to start a song, but then he's like, "Oh wait, never mind. This is Chicago. You don't deserve it." And then Seth interrupts him with his entrance. So the following Intercontinental Championship match scheduled for
One fall
is Elias versus Seth Rollins, and this was a pretty solid match. I would say this is probably the best match of the night.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Definitely my favorite match of the night.
Yes, oh definitely. Seth wins with a O'Connor roll and then a handful of tights, so a little bit of shenanigans at the end of this match. But he does retain his Intercontinental Championship. So this feud probably isn't over yet.
No, I don't think so either. I think we're gonna get at least, one more match out of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
probably. What?
Do you think he was playing up, tweaking his knee, or do you think he probably?
I think he
was seriously hurt it. But...
I have a feeling he was playing it up. Yeah. He's probably he's probably I have a feeling that it may play into something, but this probably isn't over yet.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty. I apologize. I'm putting ice in a glass, and I can't mute Skype at the moment to do it. So if you hear crinkling, I don't think it should be over yet. I think they can still get a little bit of mileage out of it.
I have a feeling.
Elias is kind of really hitting a stride. I think at the moment you don't really want to break that.
Yeah. I have a feeling, especially considering, it doesn't seem like Seth is going to be the Universal title challenger going into SummerSlam at this point. I have a feeling that this will probably go into SummerSlam.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, SummerSlam's really not that far away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it's not. They only have one pay-per-view before SummerSlam happens.
Right. You probably won't see them, as long as we don't see them taking on each other every week.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, of course. But, I mean, that's kind of to be expected with WWE nowadays, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
So the following contest scheduled for one cash-in.
I had to put you on mute. So one cash-in
is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match between Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Lana, Naomi, Natalya, and Sasha Banks. This was a decent match. But nothing too spectacular. Probably the funniest moment, at least for me, but this was only because I saw the rumor that just came out I think it was either today or yesterday. I want to say it was yesterday. how Ember is apparently afraid of heights. So, like, when she was thinking about climbing up the ladder, it was like, oh, yeah, try to climb up that ladder. Have fun with that.
Is she afraid of heights? I didn't even realize
That's what
that.
I saw. But in the end, Alexa wins and grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase. And yeah, as soon as she did that, well, first off, let me just say this. I kind of jinxed myself already during this match. Because
How was
when... What?
How was that?
Because when Lana and Alexa were fighting for the ladder at one point, Tori was like, while I hate both of them, I'd kind of rather Lana win. And I was like, at least Alexa has some wrestling experience, so I'd kind of rather see Alexa win it over Lana. And I kind of jinxed us right there.
Yeah.
So my bad. That's on me.
I don't, hold on one second. Sorry, I'm on my headphones. I don't hate the outcome. I mean, I don't think the match in itself was anywhere where it should have been. I mean, it had its moments and a couple of, good spots and everything. But, I'm not mad at the outcome. I think she's definitely one of the better choices. I just was really hoping that it would be someone like Becky.
But see,
who could really benefit from it. I mean, that's just the fans, stance on it. And then I don't think she was a bad choice at all. I mean, I preferred. A lot of people had the theory about Natalya winning and cashing in on Ronda.
But that's what I'm saying. It can. Yeah. I mean, We'll talk about it more in a little bit, but especially with how they ended up going with this, the better choice by far would have been Natalya, because you actually had a storyline built in. I guess the theory could be that, like, now it's like, oh, Alexa cashed in, and now she has to have a rematch with Nia, and then whoever wins that faces Rousey at SummerSlam, thus giving Rousey more time to train. That's the only thing I could think about when it comes to this outcome. Which, I'll admit, makes some sense, but at the same time, it's like, it's a lot of work for something that they could have easily done in another way.
Right. I mean, I guess we might as well discuss Nia and Rhonda now.
We'll continue. We'll get to that in a little bit, but
okay.
Kurt and Paige are talking. Kurt is happy that a Raw woman won the Money in the Bank. Paige says that he should be, but there's still the men's match, which I thought for sure. I mean, this is another thing we'll talk about later, but I thought for sure that she was right in this scenario. And she's sure that SmackDown will bring that one home. Angle says that the dual branded pay-per-views are really cool. No, they're not, Kurt. Shut up. And he gets to see old friends like Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, they're still stupid. Shut up, Kurt. To which Paige tells him to keep his eyes off her roster because they bleed blue. Which I wish that would have led to some sort of trade or something, because it would have been funny. Of course.
Yeah, that would have been, I expected something. I expected something to happen. To happen there, but it was a pretty good segment. Paige is really coming into her own as the GM.
And of course,
seems much more natural.
Of course, Stooge. Oops, I mean Constable Baron Corbin. He is a stooge, though, by the way. comes in and he's like, hey, yeah, you got the women's one, but you still gotta get the men's one to incur Stephanie's favor. And Paige, very humorously, might I add, asks if he's still sad that he failed miserably at cashing in his Money in the Bank last year at SummerSlam. But Corbin's like, no, I'm focused on business. Get it done, Kurt. So the following train wreck schedule for One Fall.
One Fall.
Did you like my entrance?
I did.
Because it's accurate.
I was trying to work the train wreck in there, but it's like,
woo woo. I wish I had a train wreck. I wish I had a train sound effect right about now.
I know, right?
It is Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns, and right off the bat, this starts off horribly. We get a I forget what the chant was to start off the match was. I don't think it was a "This is awful" chant, but
there was one about Punk, right? There was so many chants.
No, there was another chant before the Punk one. Oh. There was you both suck or something like that chant, and then we go into a CM Punk chant, and then we get a "Let's go Cena sucks" chant going.
Yeah, that one was weird.
And then, it just kept on going back and forth. The crowd just not caring about this match. Yet, at the end, they still did the ooh-ah for Reigns, which I did not understand at all. Unless WWE piped that in.
There's a train wreck, though.
What?
I don't think they could have piped it in at that point.
They might have piped it in.
Can they do it while it's live? I don't know. I think they can only add it on. I don't know about these things. You don't know about it. I wanted these two to have a good match so badly.
I knew this was going to be a train wreck.
I mean, we did. I mean, we said that about every match so far. We knew. It was what we expected. Damn it. But unfortunately,
but this was especially because it was two, especially considering where they were and who these two guys were. It's two guys that the smarkier crowds absolutely despise. So you knew that the fans were either gonna just walk out and leave and go get some snacks and go to the bathroom or whatnot, or they were gonna chant random things. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they needed to win the crowd over, and they didn't.
They couldn't pull a Birch and Lorcan tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Do I think that both guys are capable of a match? Yeah, probably decent match. Yeah.
One, yes. One, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely not with each other.
No. I'm saying Roman, yes, if they gave him the right storyline and the right guy to face off against and all of that, I think he could win over the crowd eventually. Jinder, no. I think the vast majority of the crowd that knew him pre-2016 will perpetually know him as a jobber.
Yeah, no, I was agreeing, with you. I think that given the right storyline, the right opponent, you can get something, good at Roman. And we have seen him have, some good matches. You can't say we haven't just because, you the guy, not you, but, in general.
Mm-hmm.
Jinder, not so much, especially not recently. I think there's just so much crap on Ginger now about the what and the why. He was given the title,
Mm-hmm.
all the steroid rumors and whatnot that the man could actually put on a 5-star match. I'm not saying he can, but he could.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's happy, so it's kind of ingrained in everybody now. The same with Coleman, but it was just completely. Like I said, I do like both guys. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, my dog just went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was like nothing. I can't find anything I can say like, oh, I like this spot or I like this. I can't.
But yeah, in the end, Reigns wins with the spear, which is no surprise to anyone. And we'll just have to wait and see where they go from here with this. Do you have anything else to say about this match before we move on?
Yes, hopefully they go nowhere with it. Nowhere.
Hmm?
Done. Hopefully it's done.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the feud amongst each other. I'm just saying where each of them move on from there.
Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah. So the next contest scheduled for one BS finish.
One BS finish.
Thank you.
Oh my god, I forgot which match was next. No. Okay, wait, yeah.
You're ready for this.
I forgot which match was next. That's why
You know exactly what match is next.
I blocked it out. Okay, I'm
yes,
gonna start.
I wish I could block this out from my memory, but unfortunately I cannot. Unlike you, which I'm sure, I know you don't follow the rumors as much as I do.
Well,
So,
no.
What?
So, yeah. But the minute, alright, so the match started off, and it was a bad match from the get-go. The first two things. First, when she was like, looked like she was going to walk off, I was like, oh, Brandon called it again. That's okay, I can live with this. We won't have to deal with this match, because as great as Asuka is, she cannot carry this woman through this match. We're going to get something stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with the fake Asuka, I was like, oh shit, he was right again. Lo and behold,
never discount Biskodamus.
Oh my god. It was, it's like, is he going to be back, like, for good now again, or for a while?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it was a BS finish. And I mentioned this on the group chat, but if this was a legit match, I don't care who you are. If I see someone trying to distract me, I'm just going to knock them the F out. And then move on to my real opponent.
Right, or, you're not, alright, even if they didn't want to take the title of, Carmella yet, I mean, Asuka's supposed to be, the fearless one or whatever. I don't understand why she didn't knock him out and then still be distracted, and Carmella could have picked up the win that way rather than just go straight to the distraction. Because if you see a James Ellsworth, why aren't you just going to punch the bastard in his face? I get the finish on one level. Carmella's going to do whatever she has to do to win.
I get that part, but
she's trying to make herself appear smarter than everybody, but
it's just stupid on its face. And between the tag team title match on the pre-show and this match, my point still stands. I have yet to be proved wrong, and I can't wait to hear Harry's rebuttal to this on NXT on Thursday. But my point still stands. No more tag teams or women called up to the main roster until Vince either is completely out of the picture or dead. One or the other. Point blank, Triple H, put your foot down now, or else NXT will be dead within 2 years.
Yeah, I'm sure Harry will.
I know Harry will come up with some sort of BS excuse for why this is gonna work. And he tried to do it on the chat. But no, unless this is ending up in a Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam, which there's a match that honestly should be more of a Hell in a Cell match at TakeOver Brooklyn 3 or 4, excuse me. But unless this ends up in a Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam or at Extreme Rules or a steel cage or whatever, some sort of match where James Ellsworth is not able to interfere, then this is pointless.
I know, especially doesn't make sense because of the way she got rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's
I know.
Like, I don't know.
WWE logic at its finest.
At first, I was like, oh, okay, maybe they called up somebody, or they signed somebody.
See, I knew it.
I got it. I know you did, but I had a very long day and I was very tired, so I wasn't thinking properly. And then it hit me, and I was like, fudge.
Did you think, again? Brandon's right again?
Yeah, I did, actually. I was like, oh, Jesus. I didn't know that.
I am Biskodamus. What can I say?
Bad for making predictions.
What?
Or discussing rumors from now on.
So, do you have anything else to say on this match, or should we continue?
No, I hated it. I hated it.
I agree. I think we all hate it. So the next BS finish scheduled for one fall.
The next BS finish scheduled for one fall
is AJ Styles versus Shinskue Nakamura in a last man standing match. The match itself wasn't bad, but the finish was just, especially, again, this is another one that, me seeing certain rumors just makes it feel even worse than it already was. But even without those rumors, and let me just put it out there, the rumor that I'm talking about is that apparently I saw yesterday, through the rumor roundup on Cage Side Seats, which I all recommend you follow, it said that WWE is going to try to go all out on trying to get more New Japan guys to come over to WWE. And I would assume, obviously they're going to go after Bullet Club guys, but I would assume that saying New Japan guys beyond Bullet Club means that they're going to try to go after some of the other Japanese guys, like Naito, like Okada. And using one of their top guys from 3 years ago, like this, do you really think, I would at least hope that there is some sort of Bushido, some sort of honor within Japanese wrestling still, of saying, hey, I want to be the top, I don't just want to get paid, I want to be successful as well. Do you really think you burying one of their top guys is really going to entice other guys to come to your company? The short answer, absolutely not. This is a stupid idea if you're trying to expand into a Japan. Not just on a talent level, but also on a fan level. If the fans see that you're minimalizing their top guys, they're gonna tune out like that.
I can completely see the case that you're making. Because it's not even just Nakamura. I mean, when was the last time? I mean, look at any of the.
Oh no, I agree. Tommy. But that's the thing. 2 matches in a row. Not to mention how Atami and Tozawa have also been used.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. If you bring them into the mix, you make a very valid point. And other people will argue, blah, 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 blah. And, people will see their points as well. But, yeah, I mean, if I was, a hotshot wrestler and this guy was being 56. I was disappointed in the match. I mean, it wasn't horrible by any stances, but when I see um, a last man standing match, I want it to be brutal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I want them to bring it absolutely. This should have been the best match we've seen of them to date.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. I mean, it had some really, good moments and such, but for a last man standing match, it was just, okay.
Yeah.
For
Well,
me.
but that's the thing. Like, even with all of the stipulation matches and all of the hoopla behind it, of their 3 matches that they had in WWE, and I dare you, please, go ask Sean for the login for New Japan World. And go watch their match from Wrestle Kingdom 10 back in 2016 or 2015. Or, yeah, I think it was 2015. And tell me that was not better than all of their matches in WWE combined.
I'm sure it is.
And
Well, it was.
what?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So, they put all this effort of making, it's a dream match and all of this and yada, yada, yada. And then they failed miserably on 3 attempts. It just baffles me.
Drawn out as well,
What?
for me. The storyline was just so drawn out. If this is going to be the last of it, then it should have been, I'm not saying they should have been bleeding from everywhere, but it should have been a lot more than what we got.
Oh, I agree, but I'll also agree that they should have been bleeding out from everywhere.
Yeah.
So, anything else to say about this match before we move on?
No.
So, the third BS match scheduled for one fall is Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. And, as I mentioned, it's a BS match because, hey, guess what? The baddest woman on the planet gets beaten by a little rat. A little tiny rat. A little rodent. A little nuisance. Yeah, you heard me. Alexa Bliss just won the title. Again. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. If they do it the way I'm thinking they're going to do it, okay, fine. But still, I thought you were bringing Ronda Rousey in to legitimize the company and make it more bad you-know-what than it already is. Especially considering Brock is leaving. And you give him all of this, leeway and all of this credence and let him do whatever the hell he wants. And yet, you basically bury Ronda Rousey with Alexa Bliss. Vince, get your head out of your you-know-what. Now. Or Triple H, just take the hell over. Because this just shows, more than anything else, what Vince thinks of women wrestling as compared to men's. This show was a complete indictment, if you think about it on a level of, real fighting versus wrestling, of what wrestling, at least the Vince McMahon version, thinks of both smaller wrestling, or smaller guys and women.
But, the whole thing with Ronda started even before the cash-in, because they had her, stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
She looked a mess. Her hair was, wild. Her boots were untied. So, if you're playing her that she's so unprepared for a match against someone like Nia, I'm not knocking Nia completely, because I know she does. I mean, is she the best in the ring? No.
See, I'm not
Yeah.
knocking
But I'm not knocking Nia, and I know I was like very like about the whole storyline. But even the way they portrayed her in the match, struggling, she didn't know what to do against somebody like Nia, where she could, until she started to like, strike her and things like that. I didn't buy it. It made me think, okay, if she's this unprepared, why is she even, why isn't she in NXT? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they failed right, there as well. We had discussed, Natty cashing in, and that would have made,
that would have made more sense.
The whole storyline, tie together. But first, Alexa needs to cut off some of those extensions because they're almost as big as she is. They were very distracting. And I guess they're going to play this that, she was getting revenge, on Nia and this.
Oh, I know exactly how they're, or at least I'm hoping I know. I shouldn't even be saying this because I've always been disappointed by the Big Four because they always seem to screw something up.
What I want from them? I don't mean to interrupt, but okay. I know whatever you're going to say is probably going to be what they're going to do. So I'm just going to get in my hypothetical thing right now.
Okay.
What I would really like them to do is have Natty and Rhonda do like this whole Rocky and Apollo thing, or Rocky and Mickey thing. Like she's training her.
Yeah, I could see that
type of thing.
I could see that. I'd be okay with that, but what I was gonna say was I have a feeling that they're gonna have, Nia have her automatic rematch clause at Extreme Rules. With it doesn't really even matter who wins that match. But either way, Rousey will face whoever wins that match at SummerSlam, and that's where she'll win the title.
That sounds pretty believable.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's where they're going, okay, I'm okay with it, but, still, they could have done this a lot better with Natalya because it actually would have made sense in storyline. I guess it makes sense with Alexa wanting revenge on Nia Jax now. I get that, but it's still so unbelievable that a 5-foot little wimp can take out Ronda Rousey.
Well, she did hit him with the briefcase. The empty metal briefcase.
Yeah, I guess. So the following actually happily ending finish scheduled for one briefcase.
One briefcase
is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which sees everyone go pretty crazy. Nothing too crazy. I wish we would have seen a little bit more crazier. Because it is a Money in the Bank ladder match. Like we talked about last night, the main roster has to tone it down because of the women and children. But the man who probably should have won it, although I'm intrigued as to how exactly they do this moving forward. I have a feeling I know where this is going, but I'll leave that for the end. Or for after we talk about this match. But Braun Strowman wins this match. But this was a pretty good match. Do you have anything to say about this match?
It was pretty good. It had a couple of, really fun moments. I think I hate matches, and I get why they do it, the safety for one, and just there's so many people. But when somebody disappears for like forever, that tends to hurt me.
Well, that's what I thought in the women's match. I was thinking because Ember disappeared for so long, I was thinking she was going to be the one to win it.
Yeah, me too. Her and Natty disappeared for a while. What was I going to say? So it was good. I mean, it was probably my second favorite match of the night. Elias and Seth being the first. I think I was glad that it was Kofi. It made sense that it was Kofi from the New Day.
I was thinking either Kofi or Big E, but Kofi
yeah,
made
I
sense.
mean of the two, but Kofi made the most sense. He's very flippy dippy, and always gives us some good stuff from like the
We
Royal
didn't
Rumble.
really get a huge Kofi spot though.
No, he didn't. He didn't, which was very disappointing. I really wanted Braun to be able to get it from like a really short ladder, but
Well, that's something that I forgot to mention about the women's match. Did you see them towards the beginning, like them fighting over that small ladder? And I was just thinking, like, what are you gonna do with that small ladder?
I know. And you know what irked me? To go back to the women's match for a second, and a little bit in the men's match. Like, they're pausing for someone to catch up to them. It takes them so goddamn long to get up the damn ladder.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
So in the men's match, I mean, that Rusev and Kevin and Joe trying to, take out Braun, that was kind of fun. Rusev trying to get the three guys in his finisher. You didn't see Bobby a lot in the match, which was disappointing. I felt bad for Bobby when he had like those.
Well, I mean, did you hear what Harry said about Bobby this past week? He was like, Bobby, really?
So that was a little disappointing for me. I would have liked to see Bobby be more active in the match. I think I, like a lot of people, were thrown that, but pleasantly surprised that Braun won.
Oh, so was I.
I think most people assumed it would be SmackDown, because how do you chase a guy that's not there?
Mm-hmm.
So
I really hope they allow Braun to basically be like, what am I supposed to do with this with no one to cash in on?
Yeah, I mean, they have to. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't really have any ideas. They'd probably be wrong anyway. How they're going to handle it. Is he going to chase Brock? Is he going to chase the person who beats Brock?
Well, I have a feeling I know where this is going, but I'll talk about this at the end.
If you tell me it's Braun and Roman again,
No.
And you're going to do these next 3 shows by yourself.
You may be right anyway, but I'm just I'll tell you my full prediction at the end.
Yeah, no, it was good. I was pleased that Braun. I think everybody is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely happily surprised that Braun won this match. But I'm okay with it as long as they do something with it. But let's. Do you want me to give you my full prediction for what ends up happening for this first, or do you want to do the review on this first?
Build the suspense.
What?
Let's do the review first. Let's build them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me your 1 to 10 review on this.
6.5.
6.5?
Yeah. I enjoy the commentary more than I enjoyed most of the matches. And with these guys, sometimes that's saying, like, you know what one of my favorite parts of the show was, now that I mentioned the commentators? during one of the matches when the Spanish announcer just, like, hopped over the barrier.
Michael Cole hopping over the barrier during the men's match was funny.
Yeah.
But I'll be slightly higher just because I was happily surprised at the end of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I'll give it a 7. Okay. It wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but that'll give it a little bit of extra points. The 2 other matches prior to that was just complete and utter crap. And if it were just based off of that matches, they would get like a 1 or 2. But other than that, the rest of the card wasn't bad. 1 word review from this?
Disappointing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of potential.
I'll agree with you on there. I'll say disappointing as one of my words, and I'll also say inconsistent as the other. Some of the matches were good, And some of the matches, you had the very obvious finish right there, and they completely missed out on it. That just about wraps us up for Money in the Bank. Be sure to listen for all of the excitement and happiness coming to you for Raw and SmackDown this week. I hope you hear the sarcasm in my voice. Let me just say, like I said before, I have a feeling this is how this is going to go with Braun. Brock isn't coming back until SummerSlam. Brock is going to face probably Roman at SummerSlam. Roman will win at SummerSlam, but at a massive cost. Braun cashes in on Roman at SummerSlam, wins the title, and Roman has to chase Braun as a way to futilely, once again for about the 5,000th time, make Roman an underdog. Sound about right, Liz?
I wonder what I said, because they'll end up Roman Braun again. I don't know. I think Roman needs to be shipped off to SmackDown. I really do.
I will say, I've grown to be more of a Roman fan in recent months. Well, in the past year, specifically because of the Braun feud that he had last summer.
Right.
And if they could do the same thing as they did last year, I'd be perfectly fine with it. I'd be okay with that.
It could be good. It could.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It could. But it falls into the, okay, we're going to get more of the same. Sometimes getting more of the same.
But at certain times in history, the same isn't always necessarily bad.
No,
I think Braun and Roman, if they are both allowed to go all out and do their own thing and have the creative freedom to do what they want to do, I honestly think, and this may be, a lot of fans, a lot of smarkier fans may be saying, "Oh, you're crazy, Brandon." But I honestly do think if allowed the creative freedom and given the opportunity, Braun versus Roman could become this era's version of Rock versus Stone Cold.
I have to give you that. I do. This isn't me being, wishy-washy. I can see that. I just feel... I don't know what I feel about it.
No. I know exactly how you're feeling. You're feeling that, creative will never let them have that creative control to be able to do that. And I agree with you. I'm worried about that myself. But I'm just saying, if the stars align and Vince allows them to have that creative control and loosens the reins on both of them like he did back in July at Great Balls of Fire when Reigns rammed an ambulance into a semi, this could be a great feud.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have that sort of one-upsmanship between the two of them like Stone Cold and Rock did. But, if they could do that, then that's great. If not, then this is going to flop. Pure and simple.
Right.
So,
I agree.
Yep. So that just about wraps it up for us. Anything else to add on this before we head out?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing positive anyway. So
yeah, really. Well, you ready to trash this even more tomorrow?
Oh, yes, definitely. I can't imagine what they will do, and I look forward to being horrified.
Yes, be prepared to be horrified even more as Liz and I review Raw tomorrow night. And then the next night, Harry, Liz, and I will review SmackDown and give you all of the jolly updates on all of things to do with sports entertainment. Oh, God, I have to barf just by saying that. So, for Liz, Pugliese. I'm Brandon Biskobing saying so long. And see you tomorrow night.
No.